Let's get it. Oh, yeah. Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three. Bum, 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 bum. Dun, 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 dun. Since I'm not playing music in the background, you just gotta listen to me hum. Yes. Uh, to recharge gifts. Remember, to create a safe viewing experience for followers following our community guidelines. Yeah, fuck that. Greetings, salutations, greetings and salutations. And I said what I said. Yeah, it is that time. It is that time. Mm. So while you all pile in and I get to check everything, yeah, I hope you understand. Dun-dun. Y'all come on in. Welcome, welcome. Keep coming, keep coming. And I'll get this all done at once. What's up, Petra? Petra, did they ever come in? About to get ready for a third shift. Oh, you working like a Hebrew, like the mythical Hebrew slave tonight, huh? You working like the mythical Hebrew slave? Did the live ever start, Petra? Because before I never got a live. Did they ever start the live? Because I waited. Well, I had it playing in the background. Oh, they did. I must have left by that time because I kept getting. I got it recorded. Hey, wait a minute. I didn't leave till after 9 o'clock. When did it start? If you got it recorded, they must have only did 15 hot minutes. They did a 15-minute live. Yeah. Greetings and salutations, everyone. Yeah, welcome to Conversations with T. Nathan. Um, this is the conversation. I am T. Nathan, so I guess everybody's on time. 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time on the GCPR network, on all my social media platforms, um, and TikTok. They are calling Trump a lame duck. He is a lame duck. I mean, technically, his presidency is a lame duck presidency. All presidents. That's why I was like, a lame duck. Y'all know that? Yeah, he's a lame duck and he's a lame duck. But he's a lame duck president. And this amazes me that he exercises that much power as a lame duck president. People that are actually have some concern about running for office are actually, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. Missed your content? Well, my content is here. What's up, Gracie? Hitting the road again at 8 a.m. All right, don't stay up too late. Yeah, my content is always here. It is up to you all to find it because, needless to say, TikTok is not going to push it out. Um, but content is here. The flavor doesn't change no matter how many violations I get. It's still here. So the content is here. Nick says Trump actually is going to collapse the Republic, and it's like the Democrats. Well, um, and if we get out the way, he might do it quicker. Yeah, if we got out the way, move something, get out the way. What's up, Reese? What's up, Penelope? Yeah. So welcome, welcome. Um, Tonight you all can see that this is Hurricane Katrina up here or down here on the screen under me. So yes, tonight we're going to talk about it because we're approaching the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. Will be August the 29th, 2005. Pastor Get is running over. I don't have no. Okay. All right. All right. So we are going to we're going to talk about Katrina. I have a documentary I want to show lined up on Katrina. Each episode is going to be 44 minutes. So we're going to watch an episode a week or an episode a night, depending on how y'all feel. I'll probably do an episode a night and we'll probably finish up next week. But yeah, it's 5 episodes of this new documentary on Hurricane Katrina and its aftermath. And I thought 20 years was a interesting time to look back on what we didn't learn and how we're repeating the same mistakes when it comes to weather and weather preparedness, especially in light of the fact that we just had a massive flood in Texas, where 160 people plus lost their lives. The warning system and how we're having these once in a lifetime weather events every year now. Hmm, because we are not paying attention to the climate. And Katrina set the stage for it. Katrina was the stage that we didn't pay attention to. So we're going to talk about that for a couple of days. Um, and if you have any experiences, like I know I was on the coast after Katrina, I came back to the coast to help with cleanup. I saw firsthand on the ground what happened, how it looked. Some of you all might have stories to tell, and we'll do a lead up to that story. Um, JB, was that an accident, JB? Just an accident? Okay, because I know that I don't have a open live right now. So back to the show. Yeah, y'all just I understand accidents happen because I know nobody would try to get into a live when I'm on the radio at the same time without being invited. Okay, now, so we're gonna talk about Katrina, but before we get to Katrina, I want to talk about the video I made today talking about the Epstein case. Um, I said that, and I've always said, I've held it out that nobody that is talking about seriously releasing the Epstein files cares about victims. And I'm going to play this full clip of Donald Trump on Air Force One talking about Virginia Guffey. And if you all of y'all know, Virginia came out um, as one of the first victims of Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell. Um, and there's something that people are not talking about that shows me you all don't care about victims and children in general in these situations. Because the first thing I heard when I heard this new excuse that Donald Trump is using for why him and Epstein fell out, and first of all, when he says he was not fortunate enough to go to the island, I was like, that's weird. And then when he talks about Epstein stealing employees, young girls from his employment, I heard something I guess other people didn't hear. So let's talk about it, but let's listen to it first.
Mr. President, Epstein has a certain reputation, obviously. Just curious, were some of the workers that were taken from you, were some of them young women?
With some of them.
Were some of them young women?
Well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken, and it was the concept of taking people that work for me is bad, but that story's been pretty well out there, and the answer is yes, they were.
Yes, they were young
Yeah.
women. What did they do?
In the spa.
Jobs in the spa.
Yeah, it's people that work in the spa. I have a great spa, one of the best spas in the world at Mar-a-Lago, and people were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, gone. And other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told him, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. I don't want him taking people. And he was fine. And then not too long after that, he did it again. And I said, out of here.
Mr. President, did one of those stolen,
Listen to this.
persons, does that include Virginia Jeffrey?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people. Yeah. He stole her. And by the way, she had no complaints about us, as you know. None whatsoever.
Okay, you all heard all that. You all heard all of that, right? You understand from since this Epstein conspiracy and all has been hitting the fan. Virginia unalived herself last year. Virginia unalived herself last year. She was still carrying around guilt and shame for something that wasn't her responsibility to carry around guilt and shame for, and she unalived herself last year. Um, and this is the price victims pay. This is the price victims pay at that early age. Now, I want to play the following because I want you to understand why I say people don't care about victims. Because it's not just the victims in the Epstein case, but it is what people are not talking about in connection with what we just learned or the way Trump phrases Epstein stole and young girls and women who were employed at Mar-a-Lago, and people complained about it. Now, here's my question. Greetings and salutations, nephew. We're going to get
Let's
to
talk about
Katrina,
how I know
but
that
listen
people
to
who are
this.
calling for the release of the Epstein files don't really care about victims because they're quiet on this particular point. This is Virginia Giuffre, and she unalived herself last year. She was one of the first victims of Jeffrey Epstein to come forth and tell her story. Now let's get into why I say that these people calling for the release of these Epstein files don't truly care about victims or the way our society treats them. Because where did Jeffrey Epstein meet 16-year-old Virginia Giuffre at? Mar-a-Lago. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump acknowledges that him and Epstein fell out because Epstein was stealing his employees, young girls, from Mar-a-Lago. More than that on a minute, but let's hear it out of Donald Trump's mouth.
Mr. President, Epstein has a certain reputation, obviously. Just curious, were some of the workers that were taken from you, were some of them young women?
With some of them.
Were some of them young women?
Well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken, and it was the concept of taking people that work for me is bad, but that story's been pretty well out there, and the answer is yes, they were.
Yes, they were young
Yeah.
women. What did they do?
In the spa.
What jobs? In the spa.
Yeah, people that work in the spa. I have a great spa, one of the best spas in the world at Mar-a-Lago, and people were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, God.
No, wait,
And
wait.
other
Just
people would
wait.
come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told him, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. I don't want him taking people. And he was fine. And then not too long after that, he did it again. And I said, out of here.
Mr. President, did one of those stolen, persons, did that include Virginia Giuffre?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people. Yeah. He stole her. And by the way, she had no complaints about us. as you know.
Listen,
None whatsoever.
listen.
Now, bear with me for just a
Listen.
moment because my question is tied to everything I'm about to talk about. So, we established that Virginia was working at Mar-a-Lago in the spa area. She was in the spa area. And she was
Listen.
about 16, about to turn 17 at that time.
And how do I know
How
that?
do I know this? Because it's part of public record associated with Ghislaine Maxwell's case. Because she accuses Ghislaine Maxwell of recruiting her in 2000, the summer of 2000, when she worked at Mar-a-Lago. And she was born in August of 1983. So
Do the math. Do the
summer
math.
of 2000, she would have been turning 17 years old in August. And it goes on to state that Ghislaine Maxwell recruited her while she was working as a spa attendant and reading a therapy book, a massage therapy book, when she was approached. And Maxwell recruited the 16-year-old and introduced her to Jeffrey Epstein. And you can read the rest for yourself. And now for my breakdown. The use of stolen by Donald Trump is very telling.
Now, before I get to my breakdown, what do you all think my first problem is? Stolen. Yes, the use of it stolen is just to. I want you to take a moment and think about everything I just said. All right, think about everything I just said. And while we're talking about the Epstein files, or other people are talking about the Epstein files and one of these, what is my problem here? What is my
When you're
problem?
talking about a 16-year-old
Let's listen.
employee. And by this time, there had been all kinds of rumors of Jeffrey Epstein's
It's not
particular
stolen.
hmm, obsession, we'll
Listen,
call it.
listen,
But here's the thing,
listen.
even in spite of all that,
In spite of all that,
why is it no one is up in arms about the idea of a 16-year-old working in a private club's spa giving massages to its patrons? Why is a child
did
working
anybody
as
miss
a
that?
spa room attendant giving massages?
Did everybody miss that?
Yeah,
We talking about the
I'm just going to leave this idea right
stolen
here
is
and
I can't
somebody
even get
make it
to
make
stolen
sense
yet
in the
because
comment section.
we have no
Y'all have a
when do we
day
start
deserved.
normalizing a 16-year-old young girl working in a spa area, locker room area of a private club giving massages to its grown ass patrons? When did that become okay? Why isn't my outrage started right there? I couldn't even get when I heard this and I read this and I remember how old she was, and I was like, I mean, she was 16 giving massages in the spa of Mar-a-Lago. Everything else built on top of that, the abuse was already there. Oh, no, Goddess, you got to be surprised. You have to be surprised. We cannot normalize the idea that this was a 16 year. I'm surprised. I've never been to a spa. I've never been to a gym. I've never been to any place where a 16-year-old girl was in the same locker room area talking about giving spas to grown ass men or women. No, I am surprised, and I'm tired of people not being fucking surprised. I am not. I am surprised. That I'm surprised by all, and this is what proves to me people don't care about the abuse of children. Because how do you just run over that? How do you just run over that fact alone? How? How was that not going to be an abusive situation? How is that even normalized in this day and age? I need people to read the room before they come in. I need you to read the room. I am not in the mood to be nice or cordial or welcoming. You know you're here. You know who I am. Let's get to my goddamn question. Why are we normalizing that? I know y'all want respectability politics and y'all want this. I am not in a chipper mood right now. I want to know how are we just seeing this and normalizing? This is how I feel when I see children, 9 children in a double wide trailer and adopted and in a double wide trailer with 4 adults, and we're surprised that they got abused. This is the same thing. This is the same thing. This is the system. This is people so focused on, oh, we just want the Epstein file. You're not going to do anything with them. This young lady unalived herself last year because even after 20 years, she is still being victimized. She is still being victimized. No money, no. Them bitches that were in that trailer didn't have money, and they were abusing children too, locking them in cages. This is a sickness. Yeah, this is a sickness. It's not just money. I don't hear Warren Buffett doing this shit. It's not just money. This is a sickness. It's a sickness that is embedded in our society. It is a sickness that we turn blind eyes to and then wonder how it continues. Just we turn a blind eye to it and we wonder how it continues. And this is how it continues because we come up with every justification for why it continues instead of the fact that this is wrong and it needs to be handled. And if Donald Trump wants to be the owner of Mar-a-Lago, and he was complacent. And it's just watching him talk about, well, I don't know. And then every I don't know always turns into details saying you know. Details. People struggle. And we sit here and we'll talk about the aftermath, but we show Virginia is dead because she died at 16 years old when she walked into that club, had and took a job. Listen, her father was a maintenance man there. Her father was a maintenance man at the club. She died that day when she was in that club giving massages to grown ass people at the age of 16. She died when Ghislaine Maxwell introduced her to Jeffrey Epstein. She was sure to die, but it started with that club. I am tired of us sitting around pretending, pretending like we can. I have watched people talk about, listen, listen, I have watched people share a video of a song that they say is in dedication to Malcolm Jamal Warner's death. And it's been allegedly, because it's an AI generated song, for one. That's the first fuck shit that goes with this. Too late. I don't care. That's the first fuck shit that goes with this. That you say that an AI generated song is penned by R. Kelly. R. Kelly is in federal prison. They don't have recording studios there. He is not releasing new music. But then to frame it in the sense that this piece of shit, child abusing man, is somehow okay. I see people listening to this fuck song because it's AI generated and it's a fuck song anyway. And you're listening to it, and you got all these people going, "Oh, R. Kelly, oh, he needs to be released. This is him showing love to Malcolm." Fuck R. Kelly. Fuck anybody who feels that somebody who did that, he married Aaliyah. And I like all these people going around talking about, "Oh well, black men." Ain't no black man who marries Aaliyah or does the things we saw him do on video deserving of mercy or grace. He's the king of R&B. To who? I can't even hear R. Kelly's song without getting upset anymore. R. Kelly is not in any of my playlists. Y'all haven't even seen me accidentally play a song of R. Kelly because some people out here capping for this, talking about, oh, he's served enough time, he needs to be released. Is he dead? That's the same way I feel about all these situations. That's why I know people don't feel the same way I do about the innocence of children. They're talking about we're gonna offer you got the offer of a deal on the table for Ghislaine Maxwell talking about what she knew. We're gonna offer her a deal. Oh, and then we got boy on Newsmax talking about she's a victim too. Let me tell you, I don't care that you were molested or fondled as a child. If you continue that behavior as an adult, you become a monster. Point blank. And I'm sorry. That excuse does not fly with me because you have a very special association with having that happen to you. And then you're going to revisit it on somebody else. And I am supposed to be like, oh well, you were hurt also, so we understand. Play with somebody else. Play with somebody else. And remember, this is not the airport. This is not the airport. Uh, Adios. The doorknob hit you with a good Lord split you. I heard adios. I don't care. This is not pushback. I'm not asking for opinions. I'm stating emphatically where I stand. There's not enough time in the world for him to pay for what he's done. Right. I don't care what grown ass adults do. And I don't care what y'all do wherever y'all do it. Don't care. I don't care what consenting grown ass adults do. I do not. I'm not a pearl clutcher. I'm not any all that. But what you do to children that have no fight back and no consent, we are on the opposite sides of your existence because I think you should die painful. And I know I'm running over. I'm running over because I do want to get to what I have to do, what I want to talk about Katrina as we celebrate, as we get to the 25th year anniversary of that. But I want you to understand much, how strongly I feel. I want you to understand that. I want you to understand that as, when Bill Cosby dies, I'm going to feel the same way I did when Hulk Hogan died. The same way. I'm talking all the people running around. Well, we got to separate their contribution to this and that from who they are, because we're going to be mourning the loss of Dr. Huxtable, not Bill Cosby. Oh, yeah. Don't come around here with me. Don't come around here with that. Yeah, yeah. Because you're going to sound stupid. I'm going to talk about your mama dressing you funny and you stupid. That's what I'm going to say. Dr. Huxtable died to me a long time ago. He's been dead. He's been dead. He's been dead. You all know me. I don't care. And I'm somebody with a criminal record. But you know what I have never done? Mm, Any of that. Nobody who's ever been around me worries about any of those kind of behaviors from me. Nobody. Nobody. Yeah. Anybody in prison knew. Yep, that will get you slid under a door. They knew. Listen, I'd have administration come by my cell and tell me, they say, hey, Nathan, um, we're thinking about putting the person in the cell, and we just want to give you a rundown because, you have a history here that says you don't like certain cellmates. Yeah, that was me. You ain't gonna believe me. It's public record. Go look up my inmate record. Everybody else has it. It's not hard to find. Yeah, go look it up. Yeah, they'll tell you. They'll tell you every violation I got. Yeah, and why. So I don't care. I will not be making I will not be extending. I extend grace and mercy to all kinds of people because there are things that we can understand of environmental and stuff like that. I don't care about stealing. I don't care about you hurting an abuser or somebody who's wrong. I don't care about any of that. But what I do care about is innocence taken. Yep, I do. I care about abusing of someone who loves you. I care about you abusing somebody who trusted and depended on you, and you physically took something from them that they didn't offer. Yeah, I care about all that, and that's the most TikTok friendly way I can say it. That's it. So on that note, now that we know where I stand on that, let's get back to um, and I'm going to play all of this. Also, I have Fantastic Four, and you know I wanted to watch zombie movies with you all, so I have 28 years later. I know we're not going to be able to get to them tonight, and I know my chief of security wants to watch the Fantastic Four movie. But can we watch zombies first? Can we watch? I haven't. I wanna watch 28 years later with y'all. Y'all know how we feel about zombie movies. What's up, Envy? What's up, Rain? Y'all know how we feel about zombie movies. We haven't seen a good zombie movie since our Korean zombie movies, right? So we got zombie movies. We got 28 years later. But before we get into that, let's talk about it. We're coming up to the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, and I forgot. And I had seen this documentary, and I want to share it with you all because I don't realize how much people don't watch documentaries until after I watch the documentary. Because then I'll be watching, because I usually watch documentaries when I first hear about them. When I first hear about them, I watch them. And somebody asked me, had I seen this documentary? Zombies first. Good, good. Zombies first. So we're gonna watch this documentary, and then let's run over if you like. I know I was in a hostile mood for the first 30 minutes of the show. I hope no one felt any kind of way about, if they felt dismissed, understand. You're always going to get dismissed when I'm in a hostile mood talking about that subject. So understand if I did acknowledge your greeting when you came into the room, or I said I was in a bad mood. I was in a bad mood. I'm still lingering, but yeah, that is what it is. So Katrina, and let's before we get into, I just think about these pictures. I was looking at these pictures today as I prepare for the documentary tonight, and I was looking at these pictures, and I remember saying when I came, I did not think New Orleans would rebuild. I remember saying that. I was saying that. I think with Petra when we did the show, I remember reflecting back on Katrina because it was like 5 years after Katrina. Uh, and then we got to the 10th year anniversary of Katrina. And I was always saying, I mean, I remember flying into New Orleans and seeing this, and flying into the coast, coming to Mississippi, and have to go to Mobile and then drive to Mississippi because the regional airport was out. And I remember looking over it, and this looked like matchsticks. You ever just drop matchsticks on the ground and you see it anyway? I remember thinking of matchsticks and water. It's all I could think of. And that's what I thought about when I was looking at these pictures. And as I looked at how big the storm was, as I looked at all this water inundating a major, a major uh, American city. I mean, this is the highway overpass, and look how high that water is. And then I think of Texas. I think of Texas almost 20 years later. I think of Texas, and we watch the floodwaters rush in and how damaging it. And I think about how the system played people in insurance, and they didn't fulfill their assurances because they said it wasn't wind damage, it was water damage. Yeah, y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? So I want that to be as we go into this first part of this documentary, uh, and hopefully we have some time to talk about it on the other side. But yeah, I wanted you all to see this one. So this is part one.
If you're still hearing us and you haven't left yet, or you haven't made plans on leaving, please leave. I hate to say this, but I just don't have enough body bags.
Here it comes, approach the front door.
All right, YouTube.